Today we're going to go through the process of updating Survival Game Kit from 1.83 to 1.84. Now this is something that you can follow along with if you go to diffusestudios.com. On there they have their patch notes, and if you just go to the 1.84 hotfix, it will have the 5 different fixes that we're going to be doing today. One thing I'm going to encourage you to do is make sure you check in the description below. We have our Discord server if you're interested in hanging out with a bunch of other fellow developers. Maybe you want to ask some questions or help give some advice. It's a great resource. Also, I have the Patreon if you're interested in helping purchase future assets that I can do tutorials on. And make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell below. Let's go and get started. To begin with, there is an issue with the death animations. So there's a death animation warning that's happening. And so we're going to have to go into the third person anim BP. Now, make sure that you're on just the survival game kit for this. If you are doing the merged version, so you have followed my advanced locomotion system and survival game kit merge, I have a separate set of videos for that deal with some of the issues, the particular issues that might be specific to that merge. So this is if you're using just survival game kit, or maybe you've done your own merge and you're going to have to kind of sort through little variations that you might run into. This version of the video is for that. So let's get started. First, you'll be at the showcase window on the lower left. Make sure you have survival game kit selected. And then in filters, let's search for third person. And you'll see there third person anim. Go ahead and double click and open that. Once that's open, we just need to be in the event graph. So if you're not there, click the event graph up top. And then we need to go to the character death animations. You see here to the right in the middle, there is character death animation, random between 3 animations. Now let's go and step through why there's a possible error here. First of all, here it's pulling the death animations. This is something where I think in one of the last 2 patches, he added death animations into the NMBP here. However, it's pulling the length of those death animations, and then it's getting a random between 0 and the length. The issue is when you're doing a get out of the array, let's say there's 3 animations in there. The length will be 3, but if you get 3 does not exist. 3 would be one above the one that actually exists, because it starts at, you'll get 0, 1, and 2. That would be a total of 3 animations. Yes, that's the length of the array. But if you do happen to pick 3 out of this random, it's going to get an invalid result. So to fix this, let's go ahead and move this get and the random int over. I'm going to move these away from each other a little bit, give myself some room, and then I'm going to drag off of the right side of length and do a minus. So what we'll do is a vector minus an int. Actually, wait, take that back. Sorry. We're going to do an int minus an int. Integer minus integer. And then leave that at 1. So it's going to be subtracting 1 so that it actually matches correctly, and then drag that to the max. So now if it says the length is 3, but we want the max to be 2, so it would put 2 here, and it would pick between 0, 1, and 2, a random one of those, and that would be a valid get from that list of 3 animations that we have. So I'm just going to clean that up a little bit, compile, and save that, and that should fix that error. Now we're going to have to go into the storage inventory component. So go ahead and go back to Showcase, and let's do a search for storage inventory, and you'll see component there. Double click and open that. And the section that we're going to need to go to in this is in the spawn items section. So on the upper left, let's search for spawn items. You'll see here under functions, double click that. And right towards the right hand side, you will see add item that randomly spawning to container inventory. So here we're going to divert this and add some code to it. First of all, you'll see this exec where these 2 kind of merge. Let's go ahead and drag off of that. And I want to do a get data table row names. The table that we're going to be pulling from is the one that is actually in this split for the data, the spawn items, the loot spawn items. So let's drag and connect that to the top, which says loot spawn item data table. And then from this out row names, we want to do a contains. So you see where it says contains item. You'll select that. And we want to choose the one that's already connected here to the right. The loot spawn item row name. We want to connect that to contains. And we just want to see if this is true. Does this contain that? If it does, let's go ahead and drag off of this get and do branch. And based on whether or not that actually exists in there, we're going to go, if it's true, we're going to continue on how we were before. If it's false, it will pretty much just end it. So that should correct the issue with none items spawning in the storage containers or in the storage component. Next, this next one is a fairly big fix. There's an issue with the save system giving a warning. Now, with this one, I'm going to be assuming you're using the default setup for this. And so by default, he has it to where you just overwrite some files and it fixes the issue. However, when I do the one for the survival game kit, you will, and the ALS survival game kit merge, I will be stepping through each individual instruction and doing it the manual way, which is a lot of steps. For this one, I'm just going to be showing you how to do the copy over. Now, if you have a very custom setup, so for instance, your player inventory component has been customized, storage inventory component, the convert inventory component, or the save system, if those have been customized, then perhaps you will want to go through and do the manual steps to patch that. Thinking about it, what I might do is make a separate video just for this, because I'm in ALS. Those components haven't been customized in my video. I don't think I have really gone in and customized each of those components. So probably what I'll do is overwrite in that video the same way, and then I'll do a separate little video that takes you through, and then that way Diffuse Studios can just put maybe that video in the steps for that particular update. So let's go ahead and get started on this. First of all, there is a download, and I'll have a link in the description for a Dropbox link. You can download that, and then once you've had it downloaded, it'll have a folder of files. You can extract. It'll be content, and then blueprints. In here, you'll see components, item spawners, other, save system. And these are files that get overwritten if you copy this over. So you just want to make sure that you have not customized any of these things. In my tutorials, I don't think I have had you go in and really customize that. So I think you'll be fairly safe. But we need to copy these over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile and save the changes that we did before. And then we will browse and get to that folder structure and overwrite those files. So to begin with, I'm going to right click on the survival game kit in the lower left. I'm going to put show and explore. And then you'll see there is blueprints. This is the blueprints. And then in the extracted zip file, you can see here some of those folders. So I'm going to drag these new files over and have them overwrite the files that are in blueprints. Now it's complaining that a file's in use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit save all here. And then I'm going to close Unreal. Let it do the overwrite. And then we will reopen the project. And it should be using the new files. So you just have to go through and extract. And one thing that you will see is there are the manual steps. So if you go to the survival game kit patch notes, you can go through and You can do the manual steps here. Just so you know, there's a link here that says Diffuse Studios SGK fix save system warning, no overwrite. That's if you have customized that file. And then you can follow these steps, and you can see there's quite a few of them to get those installed. But we're not going to do that for this one, just because we're basing it on actually having these updated. All right, and the error was because of some customization I had done, so you should not receive that, and you should be good. So that should be it for that patch. This, as you can see, there were some files that were overwritten in blueprints, and that should be good to go. So next, there's an issue with the fixed position location not working on the build parts list. To get to this, we need to be in the build preview. So if you could, on the lower left of the showcase window, go ahead and search for build preview. See the blueprint for that, open it up. And then on the upper left, or actually on the left under my blueprint, want to search for set preview location. Open that. And then set preview rotation. You can see it's in the middle right, left-hand side. You see there's a new build part location, and it's making a transform based off of that. We want to add something in between. So we have this new character rotation, or new actor rotation, and we have the new build part location. Well, let's go ahead and make some room, because we're going to need to expand this out a little bit. So I'm going to drag this comment box out to the right a little. And then everything from the right of the comment box we're working in over, I'm going to move. And that should give me enough room. I'm going to expand this out a little bit, and then move everything from the right of the transform, or the transform and over to the right some, along with this new actor rotation. So from this new build part location, we want to do a plus. So this will be a vector plus a vector. And then the vector that we want to do is based on build type. So we need to get build type. And then we're going to break that data. We want to pull out just the position offset of this. Hit the drop down, you'll see position offset. That's what we want to go into that bottom part of that plus. So I'm going to move this a little bit just to get that connected. That'll make that shrink some. There we go. And then I'll move this back into place, and then connect the result of that plus to location. So I'm now going to bring these together a little bit so it fits. All right. And so now it's going to be adding from the location to the offset, making that the transform, and then setting the transform. Next, we need to go through, and in this same build preview, we need to go to add structure and then foundation transform. So the left-hand side, just search for foundation transform. You'll see that's under add structure. Zoom out a little bit, and you can see here, this is going to an output. We're going to be reworking to the right of this make transform all the way to this output. So I'm going to give myself some space there to add some things. And then what we want to do is break this. We want to break this transform. We're going to pull the location and do a plus. So it's going to be a vector plus a vector. And then we're going to do something similar to what we just did. We're going to get the build type. And then we're going to break that. Once again, we want to get that position offset. So go and expand it down. Get the position offset. Put that in the bottom part of the plus. And you can minimize that back. And then align them up how you would like them to be. And then we're going to make. So now we need to make a transform. So from this location on the right hand side, let's drag out and do make transform. So we have our location. The rotation we're going to be using from the break. We're going to pass that through. The scale is just going to be 1, 1, 1, 1. That's fine. And then make that go into the output. So you can go ahead and straighten some of this out, make it look how you want it to. Clean it up a hair. And it should look something like this. Go ahead and compile and save that. And then we have one more small issue to fix. This fix an issue with move item. So we need to be in the player inventory component. So you go ahead and save and close the build preview. Then in the filters, put in player inventory component. The player inventory component. In this, we want to be in the move item. So in the upper left, search for move item. Double click that. And we want to be under where it says check that the player isn't moving the held item. I'm going to zoom in so we can see that, and you'll see about 4 over. Check that the player isn't moving the held item. And in here, we just need to do a is valid check. So the held actor, we have our is valid check here. So let's go ahead and check this. Not attachment, exec is valid, and it's connecting up. Now that's how it looks on mine. So we have our player inventory component. So yes, looks like if you did the overwrite of this is already in that new file. If not, take a look at this. You would just be dragging off of not attached, searching for is valid, connect held actor into it, have is not valid, go up to attachment. So there's a very good chance if you follow these directions exactly that this is already doing this, but it needs to look like this. So just verify that this is connected exactly like this here. If not, then add them to look like that. So, and once again, the reason that that's already done is because we've overwritten those files and he based that on the patched version. So that pretty much concludes this patch of 1.8.4. And so what you'll want to do is make sure we first go into the showcase. I'm going to close this. We need to update the version number. So you see here, if you zoom out, you got Survival Game Kit version 1.8.3 currently. I need to select the 1.8.3, and I'm going to change that to 1.8.4. We'll save that. And now when I come into future changes, I will know exactly what version I'm on and be ready to do the 1.8.5 next. So thank you very much for being a part of this. If you're interested in more tutorials like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the little bell down there below. Also, make sure you join our Discord server. There's a link in the description for that. It's a great place to hang out and talk to fellow developers, get advice, give advice, and it's a great community. Also, if you're interested in helping with future assets and things that I could give tutorials on, you can go check out my Patreon and just make sure that you check out the next video. That's the way that you can help me the most. And you guys being active and supporting me makes a big difference. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time.